Homophobia was and is alive and well, even on Vashon. I think it's more in just, mostly no, it's not an issue, but it's very subtle when it does pop up. When somebody, you can just tell when somebody's uncomfortable with being in your presence or who you are. But I don't run into it often here.
Being LGBT on Vashon and growing up LGBT on Vashon has been both a good experience and a bad experience for me, because I would say that for the most part the community is really accepting, and I've even been a little surprised at how accepting the community is. But I also think that there are still a lot of people that are not very accepting, and I think that it's easy to get closed in the bubble of the island and not necessarily see as much discrimination that's still definitely happening. And really just in general, on the island even, there's discrimination that is still there.
The worst thing that I ever had was somebody asking me about my genitals in class, and I was just like, that's not an appropriate question in the middle of a math class. So yeah, that was definitely a very interesting conversation to have with somebody.
There's always some anti-gay discrimination sort of lurking in the background, even in a place like Vashon Island. It has not happened for a long time, but when I first started teaching at the high school, I would get out of my car in the Thriftway parking lot and hear from across the way, "faggot," and could never quite pinpoint where it was coming from. People would scream "faggot" at Philip when he was working in the yard occasionally. That's been, again, 15 years ago. It hasn't happened for a really long time.
There was no way that I was going to go to Sporty's or going to go to Bishop's. No way, not going to go. Just didn't seem safe. Couldn't be me there. Invariably, some guy would punch me or push me or challenge me to a fight, and I would have to okay, I'm out of here. I would have to leave immediately. The best help I would get from the people over there was, "Oh, ignore him. He just hit me." And so that has changed. Francisco and I go to Bishop's 1, 2, 3 times a week to play pool. They love us. We can play gay music there. We take over the jukebox. People applaud our choices. And if anyone gave me shit, all I would have to do is say somebody's name that's in that place, and they would have my back. Certainly the managers and the bartenders. But that wasn't true 15 years ago. That's changed, very much so.
There are groups now that put on a concert, and it's by a gay and lesbian group or couple or has some sort of obvious association with that community. That just didn't happen in the 70s. And I would say Vashon was good at being tolerant, but I wouldn't say being tolerated is good enough. And that being accepted has sort of come over time. And I would say in the last 20 years, it's accepted. And then I would say in the last 10 years, it's cool.